6-6. Good work for you and the rest of the Clark County Club. Thanks. Bye.
Good evening. The regular meeting and public hearing of the Board of the Manatee School District will come to order. If you all please rise and join me as the color guard from Bayshore High School is escorted in. Lieutenant Colonel Antonio Vega, Senior Army Instructor, members Cadet Cobe Mick, Cadet Mike Palencia, Cadet Antonio Reyes, and Cadet Corey Tengal. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. And Mr. Barber, the students from Freedom Elementary who entertained us during our intermission.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Chair, board members, Superintendent Saunders. I don't know if you were able to go outside. I know we had a lot going on this evening, but we had one of the most special musical groups I think we've ever had come down here and perform before a school board meeting. They were absolutely tremendous, and I know they've put a lot of time and practice into what they do. So we want to introduce them to you, and to help us get started, I'd like to introduce our District Visual and Performing Arts Curriculum Specialist, Julie Aber. So,
thank you, Mr. Barber. Hello, good evening. Good evening, Chairman Hope, Superintendent Saunders, and members of the board. It is my pleasure to present to you this evening our student members of the Freedom Falcon Instrument Ensemble. This ensemble performed in our district arts moment to greet guests as they arrived for the school board meeting tonight. We are so thankful to our district leaders and board members who continue to steadfastly support our high-quality K-12 arts programs in our schools. In fact, this support has led to the third highest percentage of students enrolled in arts courses in our state, as recently reported by the Department of Education's Fine Arts Enrollment Report. Because of our outstanding programs and instructors in our arts programs, we are able to showcase the achievement of our students such as these. Performing with the group tonight, we have students in kindergarten through 5th grade, and they are Abigail Carlisle, Addison Carlisle, Ella Carson, Emily Fay, Peyton Hurst, Lacey Kimbrell, Shelby Kimbrell, Olivia Yambis, and Sophia Yambis. The Freedom Falcon Instrument Ensemble is directed by Mrs. Elizabeth Kimbrell, who has been the music teacher at Freedom Elementary for 4 years, and Mrs. Kimbrell taught music for 14 years in the District of Manatee County. The instrument ensemble is made up of students in kindergarten through 5th grade and is a wonderful representation of what goes on in our elementary music programs. The students use non-percussion instruments to accompany songs and rhymes, and they even created one of the pieces themselves tonight using the rhythms and syllables of their names. So, in conclusion, it is my honor to share with you the wonderful students from Freedom Elementary and Mrs. Kimbrell in our arts moment tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can you all move over this way just a little bit? Okay. This next group of students is a source of great pride for the school district of Manatee County. They came down here a couple months ago as they were raising money to earn the opportunity to go to Singapore to represent not only Manatee County but the United States of America in a global competition that had to do with technology and engineering. And they came away with a very special prize, and as I said, it makes all of us proud. So to tell us more about that, I'd like to introduce Palmetto High technology education teacher and the leader of this team, Brian Kenzior. So, Brian.
Thank you, board members, Ms. Saunders. It's been an amazing opportunity to work with these kids. I guess I'm the lucky one that gets to do it because if you look back in the past several years, Manatee County has had a second, a third, and a fourth place finish the last 3 times that we have been to the competition. And also back in 2010 and 2011, we also had a first and a third that year as well. So Manatee County has definitely put themselves on the map, and it's all because of the curriculum and the opportunities that our kids have at all of our schools, which is an amazing thing for them. These guys, again, can't say enough. Singapore, we spent, 12 days all total there, competing for, I think, about 6 or 7 of the days. Ended up finishing 3rd place in the world. Walked away with the Innovation or Research and Development Award as well from McLaren, and just had an amazing time competing against the world's best. And when I tell you that the world's best, you can't imagine what these kids are doing when you get there. If I could introduce them, come on up, guys. We have Cassandra Azrot from Southeast High School, Alana Kelly from Braden River High School, Alex Kumar from Southeast High School, and Jackson Boons, who was at Palmetto, who is now at USF. So, any of y'all want to talk? So, yeah. Say something. Something. Want to go? Your team manager.
I would just say that we were definitely incredibly thankful to have this opportunity in the first place, to be able to work with Mr. Kenzior and get to know our classmates, especially from other schools, better as well. So we really had just an invaluable opportunity competing in Singapore, and we were able to meet students from all around the world, compare our lifestyles, and it was really interesting. And so I hope that it's a program that will keep moving forward in the future, and I know that next year we'll have a team that will be trying to win as well. So, yep.
Thank you. Come on, how about the bull? Come on, the bull.
Yeah, so Singapore was one of the most amazing experiences of my life. I know that I can say that. And I share the same opinion as Alana. I would love to see, because I know firsthand how much this program has done for myself and for my teammates. And I would love to see it not only continue in the years beyond, but also grow and expand to continue Manatee County's presence at the international level.
Well, we want to get a picture. I just would also like to recognize, because she's been involved in the F1 effort for such a long time, I'd like to recognize Margie Danny in the back seat.
I think Mr. Kennedy had to come.
One other thing that I would like to say is the Manatee Education Foundation in this process has been invaluable to us, and I can't go without talking about them. They basically provided us the opportunity to be able to do this. Our first, we were looking down and out like we weren't even going to be able to go, and a couple of their board members stepped up and helped us out tremendously, and they have just been a valuable asset to us, and I would just like to thank them for everything that they've done as well.
Mr. Kennedy, microphone.
Could you guys, real quick, talk about what your plans are for after high school?
Yeah, if you would give us your name again and your high school and what you plan to do after Manatee School District.
Okay, so I'm Alana Kelly. I'm a senior at Braden River High School. Most of us are seniors, and Jackson just graduated. So the rest of us are quite in a stress ball right now applying for colleges. I think we're all applying to Ivy League schools, shooting our best shot. Yeah, but we're definitely pursuing a higher education. And I know that our interests are incredibly broad. So the great thing about this competition is that it covers a wide range of like topics that we've all been exposed to in school but can really further our expertise in. So I'm planning to study public policy or political science. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Cassandra. I'm a senior at Southeast High School, and I was the resource manager for this team, so that meant I was in charge of like outreach and getting business sponsorships for our team, which is really important because obviously we had to travel halfway across the world, which isn't necessarily like a cheap journey to make. But I'm planning to major in biochemistry after high school.
Where are you going?
Where would you like to go?
Where's your stretch?
Oh.
Come on.
My stretch is Yale, but my sister goes to University of Florida, and I'd be really happy to go there with her.
Top school.
My name is Alex Kumar. I also go to Southeast High School, and my job with the team was to be the manufacturing engineer. Right now, I'm currently looking at majoring, hopefully, in aerospace engineering. And my stretch school would be Stanford, but
Good
it's
school.
a stretch school, yeah.
Great school.
But I do have my sights also set on Georgia Tech. I would love to go there.
Great.
My name is Jackson. I was a senior at Palmetto, graduated, and I'm now a freshman at USF, Sarasota Manatee. And I'm trying to go for chemical engineering at the current moment. And depending on how that goes, I might switch which engineering major I go for. But after I spend some time at USF, I'd want to go to a higher level to get master's or PhD possibly.
Great.
Good. Great.
Do we have any parents here? Oh, great, we have
Send your mom.
All right, let's do a photo.
Okay.
By the way, these are their uniforms, right, that you wore during the competition? Ready? 1, 2, 3. 1.
Thank you. Thank you for representing us.
Thank you and congratulations. Then, Mr. Barber, we have Florida Principals Month.
That's right. Okay, as they're making their way in, this is Florida Principals Month, and we had a reception this evening for our principals, and we have a really strong number of them here, and our principals are sort of the backbone of the school district, and they really represent the school district of Manatee County to school communities across, from Anna Maria to Mayaca, from Parrish to Sarasota. So they are a really important part of what we do. And so to tell us more, I'm going to introduce one of our executive directors of elementary schools, Annette Cadelia, and I think she's going to say a few words. Do you want to have them introduced?
Yes, I would love to have them. Okay, we're going to get started by having each principal come forward and mention their name and where they are principals. So we'll start with that.
Greg Sander, Seabreeze Elementary School.
Joe Hoagland, Stewart Elementary.
Scott Boys, Jesse P. Miller.
Angela Lindsay, Johnson Middle School.
Hi, Laura Campbell, principal at Terra Elementary, and we are the Knights. Go Knights!
Jim Menace, Virgil Mills Elementary School.
Kathy Price, Mayaca Elementary School.
Ronnie King, Onico Elementary School.
Ann McDonald, Sugg Middle School.
Kristen Kryling, King Middle School. Dustin Dahlquist, Buffalo Creek Middle School.
Randy Petrella, Braden River Middle School.
Carl Ackerman, Palmetto High.
Scott Cooper, Electa Lee Middle School.
Paul Hockenberry, Kenyon Elementary.
Mike Masiello, Ballard Elementary.
Mario Mendoza, proud principal of Wakeland Elementary School.
I'm Lynn Menard, Prine Elementary School.
Scott Boyce, R. Dan Nolan Middle School.
Kate Barlog, Carlos E. Hale Middle School.
Jackie Featherston, Anna Maria Elementary.
Guy Grimes, Freedom Elementary.
Jenny Grimes, Palmasola Elementary.
Kathia Johnson, Palmview Elementary.
David Marshall, Gene Witt Elementary.
Connie Dixon, Williams Elementary.
Joshua Bennett, William H. Bashaw Elementary.
Haley Rio, Braden River Elementary.
Sharon Scarborough, Braden River High School.
Great. Well, even though I can't see you back there. Good evening, Chairman Hopes, Superintendent Saunders, school board members, staff, and of course, wonderful principals. It is with great pleasure that I've been given the opportunity to read tonight's proclamation. Having been a principal for many years, I know how difficult the job is, including the many sacrifices of time that are made to family and friends just to get the job done for kids. I also know how satisfying it is when the principals are able to watch children grow academically and socially. They also positively affect the teachers, families, and communities that they serve. The job is fun. There are not many principals in each community, so they are celebrities when they shop for groceries, eat fast food, and fill up their gas tanks. When their students see them, they often scream with glee and say, "Mr. or Mrs. So-and-so, what are you doing here?" Of course, many students, especially the little ones that I deal with, the other executive director has secondary, those little ones, they think principals live in the school and are not allowed to leave without permission, like a hall pass. The job is grueling, with state standards and testing, legislative obligations, and gasp, the need for guardians on campus. It's just hard, but they do it and do it every day with love. Principals are public role models who make a difference, and I'm so honored, along with the other executive directors, to serve them side by side. With that said, I will read this proclamation. Whereas principals are educational visionaries, instructional and assessment leaders, disciplinarians, community builders, budget analysts, facility managers, it goes on, and administrators of legal and contractual obligations. And whereas principals work collaboratively with teachers and parents to develop and implement a clear mission, high curriculum standards, and performance goals. And whereas principals create school environments that facilitate great teaching and learning and continuous school improvement. And whereas principals play a vital role in protecting and monitoring student safety on school grounds. And whereas the celebration of Florida Principals Month honors elementary, middle, and high school principals and recognizes the importance of principals in ensuring that every child has access to high-quality education. And whereas the Florida Association of School Administrators, the National Association of Secondary School Principals, and the National Association of Elementary School Principals have declared the month of October 2018 as National Principals Month. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed by the School Board of Manatee County that the month of October 2018 shall be known, designated, and set aside as Florida Principals Month, adopted with the quorum present and voting this 23rd day of October 2018. So congratulations to all of you.
Okay, let's get that photo. If there's any parents that want to get a photo. staying, but those who aren't are welcome to go ahead and go. Thank you for coming. Thanks for coming.
Mr. Barber for Florida Healthy School District Awards.
Yes, thank you very much. This is our last recognition this evening, and the school district of Manatee County has gained a really favorable reputation for wellness programs in a variety of areas. We have two prestigious awards that we're presenting tonight. Here to help us do that, we have our Director of Food and Nutrition Services, Regina Thomas. Regina?
Thanks, Mike. Good evening, board members, Chairman Hopes, Ms. Saunders, and staff. I am very excited to be here tonight to celebrate two district wellness awards. The first one we've tried for in the past, and we've finally gotten there, but I won't steal her thunder. I'm going to introduce Megan O'Mara Deal with Alliance for a Healthier Generation to present the Florida Healthy School District Award.
Good evening, Chairman Hopes, members of the board, and Superintendent Saunders. As a member of the Florida Partnership for Healthy Schools and the Executive Committee of Florida Action for Healthy Kids, it is my honor to present this gold Florida Healthy School District flag, which we'll get to in a minute, to the School District of Manatee County. Manatee is one of only 15 districts across the state to earn this prestigious two-year designation. The Florida Partnership for Healthy Schools is a grassroots partnership whose members represent not-for-profits such as the American Heart Association, American Cancer Society, Florida Action for Healthy Kids, and the Alliance for a Healthier Generation, as well as professional associations of hospitals, dentists, pediatricians, family practitioners, and optometrists, school nurses, health educators and physical educators, insurers, Florida PTA, and other advocates. The primary purpose of the partnership is to inform advocacy for school health issues and recognize excellence among Florida school districts. Florida Action for Healthy Kids is the Florida team for the National Action for Healthy Kids organization, which was created in 2002 in response to the 16th U.S. Surgeon General David Satcher's public call to action to fight the national epidemic of childhood obesity and poor health. Florida Action for Healthy Kids provides training, technical assistance, grants, and other resources to schools, as well as recognizing health leaders among districts, schools, and staff. The Florida Partnership for Healthy Schools, Florida Action for Healthy Kids, Florida Association of District School Superintendents, and Florida Healthy Kids Corporation applaud your district for establishing a culture and climate in which students and staff can reach their personal potential and continue to serve as a leader in the state in reducing and eliminating the barriers to learning, resulting in increased academic achievement. I know Teresa Masterson wishes she could be here for this presentation tonight. She especially wanted me to note that this Gold Award, again the highest honor for Florida Healthy Districts, represents the positive multi-departmental collaborations occurring throughout Manatee County School District. Your district policies, practices, and procedures have a positive impact on the health and learning of your students and staff. I'd like to thank you for remaining at the forefront of ensuring the future of a healthy Florida by creating health literate and health practicing students and staff that are fit, healthy, and ready to learn by being a Florida Healthy School District. We look forward to supporting your success with training, tools, and other resources. And now I'd like to present you with a couple special gifts to commemorate this award. First, we have this nice Florida Healthy School District polo for Superintendent Saunders. And I'd now like to ask those representatives from the School Health Advisory Committee to come up to the podium to help me present the Florida Healthy School District Gold Flag. It is my honor and my pleasure to present to you this prestigious designation as a Gold Florida Healthy School District. So I don't know where we should hold it up or show them the flag. And then
That's cool. Mr. Kennedy, you should go down there. You're pretty active with our student groups.
We want to go ahead and get a photo of this, right?
yes, please.
Board members? Thank you. Here we go. 1, 2. Great. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And for our second award, I'll introduce somebody you all know well, Sky Grundy, our district dietitian, to present the Healthier U.S. Schools Challenge Awards.
I haven't been here since you guys redid this, and it is closer now. Really close. I'm really proud to be here tonight. This is an award for 7 of our schools that we worked really hard on. So the United States Department of Agriculture's Healthier U.S. Schools Challenge is a voluntary award. It recognizes schools that demonstrate a commitment to advocate healthier school environments through the promotion of nutrition and physical activities. All the awardees of this certification have surpassed minimal meal service requirements, nutrition education requirements, physical education requirements. They've really worked hard. When the Healthier U.S. School Challenge was adopted under the Let's Move initiative in 2010, there was some money given for these awards. So tonight, the schools that won the bronze level will get $500, and the silver level will get $1,000. Schools will also be awarded a banner and a plaque, and they will also get a certificate, which we're going to give out tonight, and Sandy is being my Vanna over there. So the Healthier U.S. School Challenge application process, it requires collaboration between us, the school, the administrator, and then the wellness champions in each school. The Healthier U.S. School Challenge helps reinforce the importance of physical activity, physical education, good nutrition, and the presence of nutrition education in Manatee County schools. So we know our mission here is to help students learn, dream, and achieve. And this award just is a testament to that positive learning culture that we've established. So I want to congratulate the awardees for a job well done. And I'm going to present the winning schools. I think the principals are here behind me. So for the bronze level, Ballard won the bronze level. So Mike Montiello is here. And I think come stand up here because did you invite your mom? Because we have to get a picture. Okay. Sea Breeze, Greg Sander. For the silver level, Canaan, Paul Hockenberry. Miller, Scott Boyce. Oniko, Ronnie King. And Stewart, Joe Hoagland. I think you have to come stand in front because then they stand behind you.
Well, actually,
Right?
we would like if they both stand against the.
Oh, okay.
If y'all could move around this way some. Ronnie, if we could get you on the outside to. There you go.
Sorry, I missed Mills. And Deanna is here. This is our cafeteria manager, and she's going to accept the award for Mills.
Great, thank you. Okay. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Great, thank you very much.
Thank you all. Thank you, Mr. Barber. All right, members, we are now on the approval of the agenda. The chair has found good cause to amend the agenda to include all items listed under agenda amendments on the October 23rd, 2018 agenda, updated October 19th, 2018, and posted to the district website. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
Second.
Have been moved and seconded. Are there any amendments or any debate? Hearing none, all in favor of adopting the agenda, say aye. Any opposed, nay. Show the agenda adopted. Mr. Minor, you're up for the Central Florida Public School Board Coalition Report. Welcome back.
I guess I'm supposed to turn that on. Thank you, Mr. Chair. And as many of you know, it's my privilege to represent this board and the district with the Central Florida Public School Board Coalition that meets monthly over in Orlando and sometimes in Tampa. What I am reporting on is what occurred back on October 8th. What is really neat about that was we had an excellent program. Each of us made a report of recommendations for the legislative platform of the coalition. We're going to massage that. I presented to the coalition our hopes that the legislature would give great attention in areas of safety, security, hardening schools, the teacher shortage and the need for compensating our teachers and other employers in a fairer way, the need for mental health services, which is really more than a school matter, it's a social and a community-wide matter, the testing and how it's been a divisive instead of a helpful manner in our schools, the need for new schools and the financing, and the need for nurses and associates and science in our schools. Those things are going to be further discussed at the next meeting, but there was a consensus that they are all important, but we're going to try to narrow it down to the three most important. What we also do at the coalition is to share ideas of what we do in our districts that might work well in other districts. And I go there to share what we do and to listen what other districts do. One of the things that Orange County has been doing now for several years is having a thing called Leadership Orange. Leadership Orange is about enlisting people from the community in education about what is done in the school district, to promote, education. Sarasota had this at one time. I'm not sure why they discontinued it, but it's worked very, very well up in Orange. They have 35 people selected from the community, and this past year they had something like 260 applicants to be part of it. And they have a 9-month course in meeting monthly and learning different aspects of how the district makes things happen for students and for the community. It's proven to be highly successful in educating a small group, but an ambassadorial group, for good education in Orange County. I think it's helped, according to them, significantly in having people appreciate what their district does with the money that comes in through special millages and programs like that. I say this because I think it might be something in the near future we'd like to do ourselves. One of the other things that we covered was, security. And my friend Carl Persis, who comes from Volusia County, brought in a program of security using devices that help to avoid the tragedy, or at least limit the tragedy that occurred back on February 14th down in Broward County. We don't want that to happen anywhere else, and we particularly don't want to have it here. And I have a lot of respect for Carl. He's been on their board for some time. He's been a representative to our coalition for many years. For those of you who don't know, the coalition consists of 14 school districts from the Gulf, to the Atlantic, and represents several millions of students and families. It's quite big. What I think, getting back to Carl, he related to us that working closely with their sheriff they came up with a program that enlisted letting the people in the district and the community know about if there is a shooter present. And it's after they've adopted a program after looking at other programs, like at the time it hadn't been put on the table, but the program that we've heard about that the state has that allows for tips supposedly with anonymity to be emailed in. There's another program called RAVE. There's some other programs out there, but they came to the conclusion that the best to serve Volusia was a program put together by an outfit called VOLO, and it's called Active Shooter Awareness Program. It is from Ormond Beach. And Carl induced the president to come and spend some time with us in Orlando. And I felt enlightened by it myself and felt that it was something that might be worthy of sharing as something to consider for our community or something along that line in helping to reduce the risk of any kind of shooter coming into our schools, any of our facilities, and doing the terrible things that occurred back in February in Broward County. So I figured that if Carl could get people come from Ormond Beach to Orlando, maybe I could get them to come all the way to Bradenton, and I somehow succeeded in that, and we have with us tonight from Ormond Beach Felipe Portocarrero, who's head of it, and his deputy assistant, Stephanie Edwards. Thank you for coming down. If afterwards or sometime anybody has any questions, they're here. But the advantage of this program, and I should think, everybody say, well, the state's come up with some program. The state came up with a kind of see something, say something. And I don't want to belittle that at all. And it's allegedly provides for anonymity to reporters, although that's been challenged. There was an article in the Herald Tribune, a few days ago that somebody made a report, and the next thing you knew, the police were coming to see him. And so there's some question about the anonymity. But it is important that there be some kind of reporting anonymity. And at least Carl's very satisfied that this program from ASAP from VOLO does provide a means of anonymous reporting of see something, say something. But it does provide much more than that. It's to provide to all those involved. And when I say involved, it's not just the school, it's all law enforcement, things of if somebody sees a shooter, pushing an app will let law enforcement know where that person is, what's going on, and the rest of the people who are tied into the system will receive a situational awareness map. Now, for those who have been in the military, this is something very important in dealing with any kind of threat. And you don't get this in any other system. The other main advantage that I learned up there was that it's real-time intelligence. That is, it's intelligence about what's going on, to everybody involved, to all the police, all the school, principals, teachers. If somebody's in a closet and they got, a cell phone, they can know what's going on, where it occurred, and when it's over. Very important, I think. And there isn't any other system I know that provides that kind of service. The importance of time was in a very unfortunate way realized, down in Broward County. I think most of us have read about the misfortune of, where is the shooter? And so many people died because people didn't know where the shooter was. There wasn't good reports. People didn't know where other people were they in a closet, had they left? There just wasn't any real-time intelligence managing that scene. And this program is designed to make sure that doesn't happen again. And I think it is something that our community, not just us, might consider to be worthy of implementing to avoid what went on down there. And there's a brief video, and I don't know, Michelle, can they go ahead and run this now to explain it a lot better than I'm doing?
I'm sorry, Mr. Minor, Mr. Batchelder is telling me that the graphics have crashed, so they are trying to get it working, but
Okay.
we're not sure that we're going to be able to do that.
Do they need a thumb drive here? I have a thumb drive. Okay.
Mr. Minor even knew what a thumb drive was.
Okay. I drive with thumbs. Many of you are interested in what a thumb drive is. And my distinguished colleague
Has that been
here.
scanned for viruses?
Yes, yes. It's all, I washed my hands this morning. So, yeah. Didn't you? Okay, okay. I think Kelly is to our rescue here.
Just for those of you, I'm sorry, go ahead, Mr. Minor.
Okay, I wasn't saying anything.
I
I'm
was
just praising. Okay, I guess we're in business.
Have volume?
Does it? Yes, it's supposed to have volume. Okay. We're not getting a lot of volume here.
No volume.
Mr. Chair, would it be possible if Felipe could come up and give the volume to it as it rolls along?
How long is the video?
It's about 5 minutes.
Okay.
Let's see. Just while he's doing that, I just wanted to say, if anybody was wondering what we were discussing, I was discussing with Charlie his brother's picture with his wife in the current issue of Next Gen. So that's what I was talking about, in case anybody wants to know.
I'm going to have to use the audio on the computer, so.
With Volo Touch for iOS
Can you hear
and
that?
Android.
Put, yeah, put a mic
Go ahead,
over by
Rose,
there.
Traffic scenario with the press of a button. Upon launch, law enforcement.
Can you go back to the start, or is that too risky?
That's the start.
For over a decade, Volo has been an industry leader in disaster recovery and emergency communications technology. Volo's Active Shooter Awareness Program, ASAP, combines the newest technology with proven emergency messaging systems to provide a solution specifically tailored for use by schools and universities. By combining Volo's web-based communications platform with our state-of-the-art Volo Touch mobile app, we're able to give administrators, staff, and law enforcement the exact tools they need for awareness, communication, and monitoring during the most critical situations. Included in the Active Shooter Awareness Program are panic buttons for every staff member, staff check-in capability, including live chat communication, simultaneous voice, text, email, push, and desktop pop-up alerts, industry-leading privacy controls utilizing geofence boundaries, and the See Something, Say Something Tip Center. With Volo Touch for iOS and Android, every staff member can launch a panic scenario with the press of a button. Upon launch, law enforcement, security, and faculty are all simultaneously and immediately notified through a variety of communication methods, including voice calls, SMS text, push notification, desktop pop-ups, and email alerts. Additionally, the location of the individual launching the panic button alert can be monitored in real time via GPS coordinates. The automated panic button response options, such as who is notified and what information is shared, can be customized to fit every school's needs. Whether it's a standard drill or an active emergency, faculty can check in with administrators and first responders using the Volo Touch app. Upon check-in, faculty members can indicate whether they are safe or in need of assistance. Administrators and first responders will have access to view real-time employee location information via the Volo map. First responders can even chat directly with employees using Volo's direct messaging feature. Volo provides additional software that can be installed on every computer on campus to allow desktop pop-up alerts to display on every screen when a panic button is activated. When every second counts, desktop pop-ups can often be the fastest form of emergency communication. Volo understands that safety must always be balanced with the need to maintain personal privacy. While it's imperative that first responders and school administrators can keep track of faculty members' locations during an emergency, it's also important that the tracking terminate when employees leave work. To that end, Volo's geofence perimeter map activates location monitoring only within the boundaries of school property. Volo provides your school with a dedicated system for anonymous reporting of unusual activity. Using Volo's voice masking technology, students and faculty can leave truly anonymous voice messages reporting unusual behavior or situations on the Volo Tip Center. The Volo system automatically records, logs, and transcribes each call received, and can be programmed to alert your staff and/or police whenever new information is captured within the system. In addition to voice messages, the system can receive SMS text messages, including photo and video attachments for additional detail, as well as information gathered through the Volo ASAP webpage for anonymous reporting via the internet. All incoming tips are aggregated into one central feed in Volo's web platform, which is securely accessible by your administrators from any web browser. Volo's Tip Center encourages schools to engage their community to help prevent tragic events. Every second counts during a critical emergency, and Volo's Active Shooter Awareness Program gives schools the tools they need to engage the community and rapidly respond to crisis situations. For more information regarding Volo's ASAP or any of our other critical communication services, contact a Volo representative at 1-888.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Felipe.
All right, thank you, Mr. Minor.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, thank you. I thought this was, I'll get back my key. All right. Aren't they neat? I thought this was worth sharing with this community. It's not just a school board thing, but this is really a community thing. And I talked with, our law enforcement, or, put out a sort of a bulletin. This is something they may want to watch or, get a tape of, or if they contact me, I think I can arrange for they can to have further, information. It's something I think we might include as a possibility, for making our student staff and other people in our community if we go forward with this. So thank you, Mr. Chair. I don't. Do you have questions? They're not going to stick around too long.
Any questions for our guest?
Yeah, I got a
Mr.
couple.
Cologne.
Yeah, come on up here. Thank you. Appreciate it. And, thank you, Mr. Minor,
Yeah.
for bringing this
Thank
to our
you for
attention.
allowing us to come in and listening to what we have to say.
Yeah. Would this be a good tool? Does it also work through ID cards? So in other words, if students, particularly special needs students, were to leave campus unescorted when they weren't supposed to, would this alert the teachers that they've left the campus? I know it stops after they go off the campus, but just knowing that someone left the campus.
It's designed primarily for employees only, so students don't participate in the app. Students have other means to connect into the system, but no, it probably wouldn't work for that.
Okay. So if a teacher's off-site, can they still log into the system and send a warning, like if they've heard something about a student?
So the tip center can be used no matter where you're located. So you can text a message into the tip center, you can actually call a message in, or you can go to our website and deliver a tip that way. So yeah, it's always available. The only component that actually turns off when you leave the school is the panic button, so that way you can't inadvertently launch one.
Okay. All right, thank you. That's all I had. Thank you.
All right, any other?
You know, Mr. Meyer, what you, go
I have
ahead.
a quick one. I just want to
Just
answer,
Sure.
how many and what districts in Florida are using the system now?
We just implemented in Volusia, 90 schools in Volusia County, so they're the only district so far that signed up, but we just created the program back in March of this year, immediately in response to Parkland.
Sure.
However, this technology, and our company has been around for a decade, we've been selling it primarily to private businesses for 6 or 7 years now.
Okay, no, as the video was playing, I was like, wait a minute, I've seen this before. And I went in and searched my email. I was like, oh, there it is. I mean, we got an email in June. So, Mr. Minor, I appreciate you circling back to this because I did not see them. I did not check in at the conference. So it just kind of slipped to the back burner. So thanks, Mr. Minor, for bringing this back because it is, it's a very interesting product and it's certainly something that we should, I hope we look into.
What I was going to say, Mr. Meyer, it's probably something, we canceled our Council of Governments meeting this month for lack of agenda items, but this is probably a good agenda item for the next meeting because we'll have the municipalities there, the county, and look at how we might be able to look at something for, system-wide to be able to connect with law enforcement and everything.
Sure, yeah, we'd be happy to come
Thank you.
back anytime.
Thank you.
All right,
One-
thank you.
One of the reasons, Volusia has a little larger population. They have 5 board members like we do. They have, I think, 60 schools. It's very similar in size to what we have. And Carl, my friend up there, Persis, said, we're very similar, but, we got a great security system. And I said, but we got the 1 mil. So they don't have that. So anyway.
That's okay. They have 4 public hospital taxing districts.
Yeah, they do. But we're very similar, and I have a lot of faith in, they got a good board as well, and so I put a little faith in their discretion. So.
And to their credit, they've done a great job embracing this because, it does take some work on the district's part.
Sure.
To implement a program like this, so.
All right, thank you.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it. Thanks for coming across the state.
One other similarity, Mike Chitwood, who's their sheriff up there, I have a little contact with him, good sheriff. They have good relations with their, sheriffs and their police like we do. I said, and he was bragging about that, and I said, well, we got great relationship with, our sheriffs and our police. So that's essential, for making this work. So the ingredients are there. So thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, Vice Chair Messenger, public comments.
Yes. Just gonna read. Public comment is not an open forum to discuss matters unrelated to education, to support or oppose candidates for public office, or to engage in commercial speech attempting to sell a service or product to the school board or public. Also, public comment is not a forum to attack individual school system employees or board members. Any such complaints should be submitted in writing to the superintendent for appropriate handling. Finally, this is not a forum for addressing issues involving individual students. Because of privacy concerns, such issues should be submitted in writing to the superintendent for appropriate handling. Each speaker is allowed 3 minutes to address the board. This is a business meeting of the school board, and the public expects that we conduct it in an orderly, efficient, effective, and dignified manner. We request that speakers keep this in mind when making your comments. We also request that the audience keep that in mind and not demonstrate approval or disapproval of what a speaker has said by clapping or booing. The board appreciates the public's input and will listen attentively, consider each comment, and usually will not respond, enter into debate, or answer questions during comments on agenda items or during the public comments section. And with that, we'll start with Mr. Gibellina. I thought I saw him. Okay, well, I'll circle back around. Peter Valinga. See, I learned that thing tonight. Thank you. Well, you know, you think Bushilio was my maiden name. I
Chairman,
could have done that, right?
Board members, Vice Chairman. This is a little unique. I am number one, a snowbird. I fly down, and we're in a park, and we have a number of, matter of fact, specifically, we have 817 senior residents, and we happen to be directly opposite the Maskey Center. And because of this was a 207 shovel-ready project, and we are now facing a number of issues. Those issues, I have sent the letter. I'm not going to be reading the letter. Number one, first, an apology because I made a mistake. You know what happens with snowbirds? We leave, and just before we left, I sent a notice out saying, we've got an issue here, and we sent a letter, and then I never got a response. Apparently, our board chairman got a response, but I found out about that response when? Today. He's up in Tennessee. And so I apologize. The comments there about not having a response, disregard. Number two, first I will quickly say what we are asking. We are asking for the board to carry out an investigation of the situation, to interview your bus drivers as to their professional opinion of the hazardous inherent conditions they face daily entering upon and exiting 26th Avenue East, and request staff to produce a formal report addressing these concerns. Also, I have talked with your chairman, and we are talking a little bit because this is not just a school board issue, it's not a county issue, it's not a city issue. It requires all governments being involved. Because what we have is that when the project came in, the school, and my questions that I wrote back then, I asked questions. The questions I said, well, why this, why this, why this? Well, I finally got the answers. The whys, wasn't this done, wasn't this done, wasn't this done, is because guess what? The school board is exempt from putting in sidewalks. The school board is exempt. If it was a development, you would have to put in turning lanes. The school board is exempt from that. But because you are exempt, that does not mean that it does not cause serious, serious potential hazards. And so rather than going over the letter's there for you to read, and we are hoping to be able to walk forward, hopefully through the intergovernmental meetings and to address these. And so I ask for your serious consideration because there are serious issues here that have to be addressed, and hopefully we can work in community and work together to resolve them.
Thank you. Really appreciate you bringing it to our attention.
Thank you.
Dr. Ann Farmer. Salita Pavan. We scared everybody away. Bridget Mendel. And after Bridget Mendel will be Jack May.
Hi, I have an invoice that I received for $680. Came last night in my email. $680 to find out what companies have access to our Kids Focus accounts, what data they pull, and with what frequency. $680. It requires 16 hours to do this job at $42.50 an hour, plus benefits. 100% must be paid before initiated. What exactly is it that you all are trying to hide from parents? My last request was just from Bright Bites. It came within a matter of days, and Linda had to do was email the company, and all the information came directly from the company. All I can surmise is that you have a boatload of companies who have tentacles in our children's focus accounts and PII data, mining on a daily basis. Otherwise, you would not be charging me such an exorbitant amount. I got to thinking about the number of weeks that Ron Serrano was out on paid administrative leave. This IT guy only makes $42 an hour. What did Ron make? 60, 70, 80 bucks an hour?
Can we-
Times 8 hours a day.
Bridget,
Yep.
we're not going to talk about employees.
Okay, all right. I figure that I, as a taxpayer, have covered on a paid administrative leave alone almost $20,000 approximately. I think I've already paid the bill for this. Because Ron was out, the CIO, there was, more money that I have paid. So how about this? You take the $680 invoice and you get me the info I want at no cost and charge to me. I've already paid my fair share, thanks. If you're not willing to drop the charge, then I'll simplify my request to ask only for the names of the companies that you allow direct access into all of the Children's Focus accounts, not just the Mendel Boys. Families are starting to read the terms of use, privacy policies, indemnity, warranty disclaimers, assumption of risk, COPA, FERPA, and all the other fine print that the edtech companies that this district has our kids tethered to for developmentally inappropriate purposes that you refuse to let opt out. Also, as SAC chair, I worry about how we're going to come up with enough acceleration points to have Lakewood Ranch High School keep its A. An A rating we cannot do with test scores alone. It's gamesmanship, and your inability to make sure the quality and rigor of dual enrollment classes was being maintained is going to make us lose the game. We don't have the point spread. What is the board going to do to get us our dual enrollment classes and our points back? A helpful hint. Stop using textbook monies as slush fund for ed tech that you allow corporate profiteers to dig around in our kids' focus accounts. I'm not paying this bill, and I want the answers.
Jack May and Philippe Portocaro, which I believe is the man that was just here. Yeah. Okay, so we will move on. After Jack will be Herb Zuher. Sorry if I.
All right, tonight I'm Jack May. I was Jack May the other night. But I also am the president of an organization called Tea Party Manatee, a much aligned and misunderstood group, to say the least. But I do want to come here and let you know that we're your friends. And the reason that we're your friends is because I think our core values represent what we desire to see our school district abide by. We believe in the defense of the Constitution, both state and federal. We believe in fiscal responsibility, limited government, free markets, and God and country. So none of those items should go against what you guys are trying to do. One of the things that last time I was here, I made mention about Article 1, Section 5, and I just want to, for maybe those who were not here the last time and didn't know this, but in the Florida State Constitution, Article 1, Section 5 says the people shall have the right to peaceably assemble, which you're doing a great job, but also to instruct their representatives and to petition for redress of grievances. So consequently, the things that I want to talk to you about today, and I ended with last time I was here, is leadership. I think leadership is a key in academia that we have a tendency not to see. And by that, it's not that we don't have people who attain leadership positions, but leadership in academia seems to occur differently than it does elsewhere in the world. Interesting thing, great leaders usually embody three seemingly disparate qualities. They're visionary, they're practical, and they're servants. And I think one of the things that is the toughest, if you're a principal, if you're an assistant principal, if you're a school teacher, one of the things that gets teachers to follow principals, one of the things that gets kids to follow teachers is the fact that they're all servants. If you think about a servant doesn't take the highest position, he takes the lowest position in order to lift and raise up those who are down and who need to learn and need to follow. One of the things that I think is important for you guys to look at, I know that testing and analytics have become just a bear of a bear. It's taken on its own life. And one of the things that I think that this district can do is it can lead out in the state of Florida. And one of those ways that it can lead out in the state of Florida is to basically proposition those people who are also elected officials that work with us, whether they be state representatives or state senators, the Board of County Commissioners, and develop a plan that has to be strategic in order that we can go to the place that causes the most unfunded mandates. And sometimes, you know, I got to say this, and my time's up. I thought I was going to get 5 minutes because I'm representing an organization, but maybe next time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Heather, or I'm sorry, Herb Zahur? And the second time, I think I did it better.
You did better second.
I did, okay, good.
Herb.
I-
It shows on here that he's from the Tea Party.
I don't know, I didn't,
Oh.
Yeah, Jack.
I wasn't sure if, I wasn't told whether he was or he wasn't. Can we give him the other 2 minutes?
Yes, it shows on here Tea Party.
Okay. And come on back, Mr. May.
Yeah, no problem.
We're gonna keep you seat warm.
But my thought is that if, and I've heard talk of a strategic plan and the things that we want to do, and of course, in order to make this district fiscally responsible, basically limited in its scope of all the things we do other than teach kids. We want to have teaching kids being the number one item that we do and that we accomplish. And I think one of the things that I would like to see you guys do is to form a band of local representation that has a voice in Tallahassee that will help to, just like the situation that Mr. Minor brought to us today, where a group got together and they had an impact. And I think that you can lead out and be the leaders in Tallahassee if you take the opportunity and the time. One of the things you need to do here is you need to teach leadership. Leadership, again, is not a group of letters behind somebody's name. It's not the position you hold. It's the success that you accomplish by being a leader. And so I want to encourage you. I want you to know that there are folks out there that want you guys to be successful. We're a group, we're ordinary people. People go, they say, Tea Party, holy mackerel, should I shake your hand or spit in your eye? We're just regular guys and gals. We're no different. We get up every morning, wash our hands. I was paying attention.
Once a week.
But the thing is that we want to be a help and not a hurt. We want to help you guys be successful. We want you to be able to call on folks in the community when it comes to leadership, opportunity, and activity. There are many who would be willing to take the time to offer courses in leadership for principals, for other people at the district. There is a gross need in business as well for leadership. And so I want to call on you guys to be leaders, and I thank you for giving me the 2 minutes.
Thank you.
It's hot.
It's hot. It's ready.
Come on down.
All right. Herb Zerker, I just want to say amen. President Hopes and Superintendent Saunders, appreciate the privilege of being here, but I want to say amen to what Mr. Valinga said a while ago. And this is on the Manatee complex of the school buses. I am on the board of one of the Sugar Creek parks there. There's 3 parks, and he mentioned there's over 800 units there. Actually, it's over 1,000 people that live in the area right there on 3300 26th Avenue East. And it's a very narrow road. The school buses come out, taking up most of the road as they come out, and there's a lot of school buses. And it's dangerous, very much so, and we just want you to take a look at it and help us out with that. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you. Heather Wallace, and then after Heather Wallace is Beverly Newman.
Hi there,
What's your
Superintendent, Chairman, Board. I want to speak tonight on just 2 issues. One, dealing with the IPAC committee, which you've heard plenty about. I have talked about it for a while now, and I have good news. When we first started a while back, there was a complete lack of understanding of the statutes, rules, contract, policies that provide the framework for the evaluation system. And honestly, when the program was new and we had a lot of turnover, it was somewhat understandable. It was still frustrating, but it was understandable. And we still have some work to do in that area. But the second one was why I found myself struggling. And that was that there was a lack of interest in understanding the statutes, rules, laws, and policies. and a total lack of respect for the people that were most impacted, the teachers and the students. And some of you look scared. I'm actually here to tell you that we have made strides in that area. And if I'm going to come here for 2 years and be kind of, I don't know what, but you fill in the blank, I would want to give credit where credit is due, and that is to this board and to the superintendent. We are, just so my coworkers don't think I've completely lost it, I realize we still have a lot of work to do. But the climate has changed a little bit, and I would like to personally thank those of you who have returned emails, calls, and you set up the appeals process, which I hope is going well. I want to encourage my coworkers, which, by the way, I don't have to plead my case this year, but that doesn't mean that the system is reliable, okay? And I want to encourage my colleagues to fill out the appeals process, because if you have the attitude that it's never going to change, then it won't, okay? And because of my time spent researching it, I do want to offer a couple of suggestions. I think we should continue operating in the sunshine, posting the IPAT meeting dates if we're going to continue using it, and posting the minutes. You know, I had some concerns. I think Mr. Kennedy had a couple meetings ago related to Ms. Saunders, and the minutes were posted. We still need to work on the clarity of the minutes, but they were posted, and I appreciate that transparency and communication. We need to get the committee balanced. We've talked about that. It's been a year that teachers were underrepresented on that committee. At one point, there were 2 teacher vacancies, then down to 1. I heard through the grapevine that it's being filled, and I want to, you know, teachers are at a disadvantage if it's not even, and so I hope that the teachers will communicate to our side of things on that. We need to communicate the plan to the teachers. Perhaps when the contract is ready to be ratified, we get an attachment with the healthcare, but the evaluation plan is very significant to teachers, and I think that, again, this isn't necessarily directed to the board, it's directed to the teachers who I know are impacted by this, and I think we just need to use the proper channels. Oh, darn it. I had some good things, but darn.
Beverly Newman?
I'm here to plead with you on behalf of Holocaust education. It is mandatory, we all know that. And we all know it's really not happening, and it has nothing to do specifically with this county. I want to make that very clear. In rare instances is it happening. Why should it happen? Because it's character education. And it's a way for our young people to understand their turbulent world better. Our young people are suffering, even from the quote-unquote good homes. They're suffering, and we need to recognize that, and we need to help them through this world. And I don't think we're doing it, and I take responsibility for that. I would like to help this school system to offer the best Holocaust education programming that there is, free of charge. I have a doctorate in education and child psychology. It's pretty obvious I love kids, and I want to do something to help them. We have a center for Holocaust education here in Bradenton on Cortez Road. We are available usually 6 days a week, year-round. We charge nothing to walk in the door. I can help students, I can help teachers. The staff can create PowerPoints. We serve a number of schools, in-state and out-of-state, free of charge. Please give our students the opportunity to understand their world a little bit better. We owe it to them, and their world isn't very pretty. And I don't blame you, but we can join together and help them. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
Mrs. Newman?
Dr.
Dr. Newman, excuse me, thank you. As long as you're, could you just give the address of your center, as long as you're here?
Certainly. It's called the Al Katz Center. That's ALKATZ. That's my daddy's name. He was a Holocaust survivor. And it is at 5710 Cortez Road, 34210, which is in that shopping center with the Tuesday morning, the Big Lots, the U-Fit, etc. So you all know it, because you've all been there.
Thank you, Dr. Newman.
You're welcome.
Yeah, and when I met with Dr. Newman and went through the curriculum, I thought what we could do is, after the election, things settle down, have her come back for a workshop, because she does have curriculum for elementary level, middle school level, and high school level. And I think it would be interesting. It'd be interesting to visit the center too. It's pretty interesting.
And we have to realize that there still are some Holocaust survivors alive, and they love to come to the schools. So let's use their insights and experiences for our children's benefit while we can, please.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
And that concludes public comment.
Thank you, Vice Chair Messenger. All right. At this time, believe it or not, we are going to close the regular meeting. And I will open up the public hearing on the adoption of the board policies that we had in our workshop. Do we have any public comment?
No.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, I don't have any signed up, but let me ask.
Okay.
Since it is a public hearing, anybody can come up and speak to our policies that are being reviewed in this public hearing. Would anybody like to come up and have 3 minutes to speak? Rules still apply as they did earlier. Nope. It's only on these policies. Okay, come on down.
I'm assuming, is there a policy about student data privacy?
It's very specific.
Reporting it out?
No.
It was very specific policies, and it,
Okay. I just asked if they make a policy. I guess it's too late.
Let's see if we can give it, let me flip to the workshop agenda. We can just give everybody a briefing on.
yeah, I mean, it was about appointments and assignments of administrators and school safety. A lot of it had to do with school safety.
It was, it's a model policy on religious expression in public schools. It's to bring us in compliance with state law.
Our policies actually mirror the State Board of Education.
I'll tell you what, it's brief enough. Let me just, I'll just read it for the audience, just if you haven't read it. It's 8805, Model Policy on Religious Expression in Public Schools. It is the policy of the school district that the district will not discriminate against a student, parent, or school personnel on the basis of a religious viewpoint or religious expression. Student expression of religious viewpoints. The school district will treat a student's voluntary expression of a religious viewpoint on an otherwise, yes.
Point of order. That's actually not the policy that's,
Oh,
No,
that we're on right now.
Mr.
Oh,
Chair?
that's-
these are the ones that we had.
Mr. Titlebaum, would you summarize what the policy is, as it were? This is the
I
leave
didn't want you to go
policy.
through all that and then it's.
Yeah,
First of all,
it's school safety and leave.
I want to say to you that the policy you're referring to was a workshop policy, which will come back before the board on a future date. Right now, we're in the middle of another update for Neola,
Right.
which before
It's a
we have-
lengthy update.
It's a lengthy update.
Yes.
We're updating approximately 30 of our policies. We're coming up to speed to be legally compliant. These policies were vetted before the board originally. In order to update a policy, we must ask the board permission
Right.
to go to what's our rules formation, and we get our public comment. We have to advertise for a certain period of time. The time period is, they say 28 days, it's really 30. And now we're coming back after that time period, which is closing for this board, to allow us to update those 30 policies, so we are legally compliant. Thank you.
Thank you. Should have turned to the council first. All right. Any public comments on the policies that are in the board packet? Vice Chair, I guess, no.
No takers.
No, we have to. We have now closed the public hearing, and we will reconvene the regular meeting for item number 2, approval of amendment and adoption of school board policies. Superintendent Saunders.
Yes, I recommend the adoption of the new policies.
So moved.
Second.
Having been moved and seconded, is there any debate? Hearing none, all those in favor of the approval of the amendment and adoption of school board policies, all in favor, aye.
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 Any opposed, nay? Showing none, show the policies adopted. Nice work, Mr. Titlebaum. Superintendent Saunders, approval of the minutes.
Yes, I recommend approval of the minutes for the board workshop on September 25th, 2018, as well as the regular board meeting, September 25th, 2018.
Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Having been moved by Mr. Cologne and seconded by Mr. Kennedy, are there any amendments to the minutes or debate? Hearing none, all those in favor are aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Show the minutes adopted. Superintendent Saunders, consent items.
Yes, I recommend the approval of our consent items.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Having been moved and seconded, members, is there any debate on the approval of the consent items? Hearing none, all those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Oh, do we have public speakers? Is that right?
She cited a specific thing that she had to write.
It's $92,000. I'd like to speak it out loud, but I sent it to forms.
Let us speak. But then
Yeah.
Go ahead.
As long, it's the will of the board. That's
Yeah,
fine
it's
with
up
me.
to us.
Come on down, Ms.
Any
Wallace.
opposition?
None.
Hearing none.
Let her talk.
I'll try to make it quick.
Oh, I always want to hear what you have to say.
Heather Wallace again. I just, I happened to see Smart Horizons listed last on the consent agenda for $92,000. This has been reported quite a bit, so I thought we should probably have a brief discussion, or you guys should. I think the last time, we were spending upwards of $300,000, so it is a change. So I just want to bring that change to the attention of the students, because if students are counting on this program, or their parents are counting on the program, I think we need to just take a pause and let people know that the program apparently is going to be recommended for approval. And I'm not going to use my little time to debate whether that's a good or bad decision. I'm going to assume that it is going to get approved, and I'm just going to request that we really develop some criteria about which students get the opportunity. Because at 92,000, it's looking to me like probably some schools may get 8 or 10, or I'm not exactly sure how that will be divided, but we will, if history repeats itself, have many more students that that would meet the criteria to use that program, in that they will not be receiving a diploma in the standard way. And so if it's totally a site-based decision and the principals delegate that decision to other staff members, I think it can have the appearance of possible favoritism. I'm not saying there would be, but also I think it puts the staff in a very difficult position to determine which kids are getting a high school diploma and which are not. It's a serious issue, and by the name Smart Horizons, a lot of people just may not have known what it was. So that's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
Hold on, Heather. And we do appreciate when our educators come forward to help us with this. Does anyone have any questions around that issue. I guess my question, with the Department of Education changing the test alternatives, do you think that may also lead to more students needing this option in order to graduate?
All I know is if you look at the history of the program, that it grew significantly. And we went from, I believe, and Ms. Saunders would know better than I, we went from having about probably this number, 10 to 12 students per high school using the Smart Horizons program. And then it was probably a combination of factors, increased requirements, but also the word spreads. And hey, this is an option. And I just, so yes, I would anticipate, and again, that's a whole nother discussion as to the validity and use of the program, but I don't want you to come in with a storm in April or May and you have some moms that have just found out their kid is not getting a diploma and others have gotten the $1,200 benefit of Smart Horizons. So my concern is more on a fairness and equity level, that we have a application process and criteria and some type of rubric for who is going to get this opportunity. And again, I love site-based decisions because every school is different and kids are different, and I appreciate that. But on this particular issue, I think we might need a little bit more structure because it's very emotional. I have had students who work 40 hours a week that would be willing to buy this themselves, and they were not given the information. Not recently, but I'm just saying, so if we've got to give everyone the same opportunity and the same access to the information is all my concern is. And it's not to say that it wouldn't have happened. I just want the parents really to know that this might be a change. Okay.
Okay, so, and I guess maybe we can, talk about that further, because, I mean.
I didn't mean to
it's-
spring
it's
it on
only- It's
you.
only a budget. If we find, that we may have greater needs of students to take advantage of it, the board can certainly address the budgetary issues. But thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Reallocate.
All right, now since we took public comment after we already approved it, from a process perspective, we're okay?
Yeah, I didn't finish voting.
Okay, all right. All right, moving on to old business. Now, this item.
Mr. Chair, point of
Yes.
order. I don't think that vote is finished. Technically, did we
Oh,
do a
Mr. Ryan.
voice vote?
We did call for a vote. There we go. Now it's finished.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. This old business item, this is sort of procedural. Mr. Minor, I believe this was an item that you had put on the agenda, and then I think we tabled it to give the superintendent an opportunity to work with Mr. Wallace. So I think we need a motion to remove it from the table. Would you like to make that motion, Mr. Minor?
I move that we remove this matter from the table.
Second.
All right, okay, having been moved and seconded, so now we are on the item.
Don't we need a vote?
All those in favor of removing the item from the table, is there any debate? No debate? All right, all those in favor of removing the item from the prior agenda off the table so that we can consider it, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Okay, show okay.
There-
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay, on the motion, all those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Nay? Showing none, show the item removed from the table for consideration. So now, members, we are on the approval of a board directive directing a change of Daniel Wallace's VAM rating to a 3.0. Mr. Minor.
Mr. Chair, I would appreciate hearing comments from our fine superintendent at this point. I believe
resolution?
I believe everything has been worked out
Okay.
to the benefit of the district and to Mr. Wallace.
Superintendent Saunders.
Yes, that is correct. This situation has been taken care of.
So can I then remove this matter? Yeah. Would I make a motion that we remove this matter, or how do we ditch it?
I believe, yes,
That's
Mr. Dye.
Mr. Chairman, I don't think you need to take any action because there's no action to be taken.
Right.
You've heard a report from the superintendent, everything is resolved, so there's no work for
I
the
think-
school board to do.
I think the item just sort of dies off of the agenda. How about,
Can I amend the
Yeah, why don't you-
motion to say, let's kill it? Okay.
Second.
Okay.
why don't you make a motion to remove it? remove it
I'll
from the
make a
agenda?
motion to remove it.
Okay, do I have a second?
Okay.
Okay, having a second, is there any debate? All those in favor of removing the item from the agenda from 2 meetings ago that we tabled and we took back up? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, nay? All right, show it off the agenda, it just vaporizes. Nice job, Superintendent Saunders.
Yeah, thank you.
And thank you, Mr. Minor, for bringing it to the attention. It's important that we, and those, and I just want to add with regards to the sort of online grievance process dealing with this issue, if our educators will please, take advantage of filing the online grievance so we can address this, and then hopefully in the year to come, the IPAC committee can take another look with the district at how we're evaluating student progress. Thank you. All right, we have no items that were pulled from the consent item. On new business non-consent items, Superintendent Saunders for item number 1.
Yes, I recommend the approval of the 2-month stabilization period cyber change order request, SDMC.
Do I have a motion? Have been moved by Mr. Kennedy. Is there a second?
Second.
Having been seconded by Mr. Cologne, any debate or discussion? Vice, yes. Mr. Kennedy.
First, I want to, obviously, I will support this order and the stabilization plan. I want to give the superintendent credit for her and the team's kind of continued attempts to kind of right this ship, so to speak. And, we're almost, obviously, there's a lot of, I think, generally speaking out there, I haven't heard much about this from the community, but internally, this has been obviously a significant item. And, but I raised this a couple meetings ago, maybe it was the last meeting, it's been a while since we had a meeting, but I am still concerned about I'm pointing fingers at leadership in general, past leadership, back to 2 superintendents ago. But I said this before and I'll say it again. I feel like we have at least 2 employees that we kind of set up for failure. We're still kind of working those issues out. But even beyond that, and I want to express my support for those 2, for this team, because I am still concerned that we have a team doing this work that is still understaffed and overworked. And I know some of these folks are hard to find. So that's part of it, especially in a booming economy when it's a laborer's market, not an employer's market. And I just didn't want to let this moment pass by without bringing that team up, because that team especially has put a lot of hours in. They have been living under constant stress for the past 18 months. There were deadlines put on them that maybe we didn't need, and that we can second guess a whole lot of things, and hindsight's 20/20 and all that. So I don't want to go into all that, but I just wanted to. I, as an individual board member, don't do anything here, but from the seat, I just wanted to express my support for that team and for our leadership, because we are, we are definitely heading in the right direction, and this stabilization change order continues that process. But let's not lose sight of the people who are on the ground doing the work, and let's make sure we take care of them and get them what they need. And I guess that's it. I just wanted to express my support.
Thank you, Mr. Kennedy.
for
Mr.
the folks.
Colon?
Thank you.
I would also venture to say that I want to support staff in any way possible. I also want to thank the superintendent for her very hard work on this. I think some of you remember that the cyber contract, as Mr. Kennedy said, was something that was brought up the first day I got here. And it was done by 2 superintendents ago. And at the time, just looking back on my experience in corporate America, the first thing I said was, wow, you're gonna do this for $9.5 million? I don't believe it. I said, I'll tell you what, I'll vote for it. And if it comes in under $15 million, I'll be very happy. And you can look back at the tape. Now, to be honest, we're at $20 million. And it's unfortunate, but I know staff has been working very hard at it. And Mr. Kennedy is right. It's hard to get these people, especially when we're a school district and we're not willing to pay what's necessary to get the caliber of people in a market like this, where they're literally naming their own salaries. So it's tough. We have to keep going on because you can't do it halfway. And that was one of the things that we talked about. This is a complete package, and we need it. We can't go back to the Stone Age. We can't go back to paper. And I know, it's taking up a significant portion of staff time. So all I'm gonna say is, thank you, Superintendent. Mr. Chairman, I know you've been working on it as well. I don't hear much about it from you, but I hear from the superintendent all the time. So I wanna thank all of you for your hard work on it. You too, Mitch. Thank you. Because I won't be here in a couple of months, so you won't hear from me about it anymore.
Members, any other comments, debate? Mr. Minor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would like legal or administration to please respond to this question. If I read this correctly, it provides that for a period of approximately 2 months, this change request is to perform the following services during a period of approximately 2 months. Services are to begin September 4, 2018 through November 1, 2018, or until all cyber-only defects/issues, excluding those mutually deemed as low priority listed below, and in addition to those found in system testing, are resolved, whichever date is later. Now, do I understand correctly that this is almost an indefinite contract that we're making with cyber in approving this tonight?
Mr. Tauber, for response.
It's a stabilization contract itself. It is, as you've read it properly, it's to correct and to stabilize the ERP system and to resolve the major failures or the, I would say, bugs in the systems that we've encountered. So ultimately, it's also result-driven. It is to resolve the key components that they will be approved by the district to our satisfaction, that they are in fact operating. So it's not indefinite, it's for 2 months. And as you've read for the dates, we have had systematically eliminating the errors that we are seeing. Before they were, and I know Mr. Kosmak, and I credit him, can tell you, from here to there and back. And I'm pleased to report they are being resolved and that cyber has continued to work with the district to get the ERP functioning, communicating, and running the systems the way they were meant to be run. My favorite one is payroll.
Yeah, thank you. Unlike the prior cyber agreement, this one is specific for completing the tasks that have been identified. We think, based on the meeting that we had yesterday with the HTC executives and cyber and our district team, that we're looking at around the second week of November, third week of November, that we believe that the work that was identified in the agreement will be completed, and there are a few other deficiencies that came up in testing that will be completed as well.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Mr. Titlebaum. I just think it's kind of strange to have a contract, being adopted here in late October, for it to begin more than a month earlier, and to end within, provide in it for ending in about a week, but open-ended after that, subject to completing, repairing or addressing all the defects and issues that occurred. It's rather unusual.
You're right. You are right, Mr. Minor. Part of the problem was we had a missed meeting, so it should have come before. But what that's stating is we anticipated a 2-month contract. The money is set, but if all the bugs are in those issues that we've identified have not been corrected, they're required to continue working at no extra charge until they are completed. We have to sign off on all the resolution and agree that it's all been resolved based on those identified issues, or they have to continue working on them, and until they're all resolved, they won't receive payment for that. That amount will not change.
Okay, are we holding back, we have this not to exceed $195,000. How much are we holding back from cyber?
So right now, I'm holding back 2.3 million, so it's coming out of that pot.
Okay, now that's the carrot we're holding out
Yes,
there
sir.
to get your act together, so to speak.
You are correct.
Okay. And what, if they were to say, well, we can live without it, where do we go from there? I guess maybe we shouldn't even think about that, but.
Well, we do have a maintenance agreement with another firm that also works side by side with us, Agitech. So if they did not want to complete that agreement, we do have Plan B. However, cyber is committed to fulfilling the project and making sure that it meets our satisfaction.
I think the community probably is curious as to what steps we're taking to verify that actually all of this is done before we write the check for all that money. Can you go into that a little bit?
Well, if you would like, I can put that information on the next board workshop, on the November 13th workshop, and we can go into detail as to where we are on the progress of the project at that time, if you would like.
Do you anticipate that would be before or after we write the check?
I would think it should be close to when that commitment will be completed.
Okay, I guess the point is, I think the community has a right to feel, I think we ought to have not just trust, but verify.
Sure.
Before we write the money.
I understand.
And my point, second point is for the public to know what we've done to verify before we write the check. And I think they deserve that. I think what you personally and the people you've brought in are working very hard to meet this, but there is widespread disappointment that we didn't meet our goals for the money that we originally thought, and the community is looking for us to show us the money, so to speak. Okay.
I'll
Thank
put it
you.
on the workshop.
Mr.
Yeah,
Titlebaum, I think it would be helpful for you to just explain to the public the team that's been put together and the multiple steps of validation and verification.
Absolutely. I want to say first and foremost, this change order is unlike any other you've seen before. Do you want to know why? Unlike a taxi, the meter's not running.
Right.
This is a fixed fee. This is something that the superintendent was able to say, enough is enough. I'm stopping it here. You're going to complete this, and I'm going to know exactly how much we're going to spend.
Just tell everybody they're not getting paid by the hour.
They're not getting paid. Translate the lawyering,
Yeah.
Mr. Cologne. You're not getting paid by the hour. You're getting
This is
paid
by
by
the
the task.
job.
It's task-based completion, not whether it takes 1 hour, whether it takes 100 hours. The fact is, you're going to work till it's task-based and it's completed. Now, do we have a subject matter expert on staff? Absolutely. That's Mr. Kosmak. He's sitting in our audience, and Mr. Kosmak is a PeopleSoft expert. He's overseeing the implementation. He is the one who's ensuring that we don't do things in silos as we have before, where we built a component that may not communicate with the next component. So we're having the testing, and we're able to run the errors and correct the errors as we go along, and most importantly, get it so the system will communicate, that it will work from end to end. That is the goal. So ultimately, we're hitting the major components, and we are resolving those issues, in ensuring that cyber is there, and Mr. Kosmak is a fail-safe, as well as the ERP team that Mr. Kennedy speaks about. We have our business associates that are working hand in hand. We have cyber, which has continued. Despite their contract expiring, cyber did make a commitment to stand by their work. And so ultimately, cyber is not starting just yesterday. What we're seeing is the continuation of cyber saying, we will stand by our work, and now we're doing it at a fixed price to bring completion. So as Mr. Cologne would say, no guesswork.
Yeah, and I think what's important to note, it was actually the parent company. Remember, Cyber had gone through bankruptcy. They were acquired by HTC Global. It was the parent company that acquired them last summer that reached out to us and got directly engaged with both their chairman, actually, and their executive vice president, their number 2 person, who has now been down here, I think, has met with us twice. And they stepped in before they even, because they realized that Cyber, which they acquired, was not meeting our expectations. And so they committed to do the work without an agreement because we needed to get this addressed. We obviously need our payroll system and others. So as we sit here today, we do have a very positive working relationship with the parent company that is committed to ensuring that the project ends up meeting our expectations. And that's why, because this agreement, as you know, the board approved engaging Carlton Fields in this process. So this agreement has gone through, many reviews by our board general counsel, the Carlton Fields Council, and the district's council. And unfortunately, we weren't able to bring it to the last meeting because it got delayed. But we are in a much better position. We believe that once this payroll run gets done this week for the 25th payroll, that we should have the payroll system operating without the significant deficiencies that we had before. So again, to the entire school district team, from the superintendent, with Mr. Kosmak and the whole IT team, everyone has been working. They've been focused. We're running through the systems from start to finish, and we're in a much better place. And we have an agreement that is not based on an hourly billing, and we're also scrutinizing those invoices from the past. So. Additional comments, Mr. Minor? Questions?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. To what extent, and maybe this is a legal question, and or a question for Mr. Kosmak, does this purport or could be interpreted, as a release of any claim that we might have against Cyber for not doing what it had agreed to do and not doing it on a timely basis, or representing that it did things and getting paid when those things weren't done?
I'll
To
give
what
that to Mr.
extent
Dye.
is there compensation for that? Is this some kind of global release of cyber? If you do these things, okay, you go out the door, even though great harm has been lodged against this district.
I don't believe there are releases, but I'll turn it over to Mr. Dye. We have signed no releases, and unfortunately, our prior agreement really didn't have deliverables in it. The agreement that was approved a couple of years, 2.5 years ago, I guess, 3 years ago, really didn't have deliverables. It was just, you know, an hourly rate and travel expenses. It was not a good agreement. It was not a good agreement. But Mr. Dye, would you like to address the?
Mr. Chair, I'm not contesting that it wasn't a good agreement, but I think it certainly, the events more than imply that the agreement wasn't performed by cyber as it was supposed to do. And even a bad agreement, you know, we had a right to expect, you know, performance in accordance with that. And I think that there's a lot to believe that they didn't do that right agreement, and this community has suffered. And I'm wondering to what extent, you know, there remains provision that we will have that rectified monetarily or something. I can see why the parent company would want to get in, because they're responsible for the sins, and these are sins that occurred. So,
Mr. Dye?
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Minor, there's no release or waiver language. This is a change order or a change request form to the existing contract, and it's intended to get the system, create the 2-month stabilization period as described by Mr. Titlebaum, to get the system up and going. It does not release the parties. This agreement, this change agreement, excuse me, is not involving fault or irresponsibility or finger pointing or any of those kinds of things. It's intended instead to get the system up and functioning for the good of the district. So there has been, this was reviewed throughout the discussion to make sure there was no release language for either the district or for cyber, and there is not.
well, do we have any leverage? Now, one of the leverage for their hopefully, you know, performing this is, what was it, about $2 million we're setting aside. And the gist of this is, okay, you do this in accordance with this change request. Okay, you get the $2 million. That's kind of, is that the leverage for performance that we have here?
No.
They'll get what they're entitled to receive.
Well, that's the question, you know.
We're
my
working.
feeling is they're not entitled to a plug nickel. But
So far, we're making progress, and the goal at this moment is to continue to review the invoices, the expenses, while concurrently all working towards resolving the issues with the system. And we'll cross the other bridges as we come to it.
I guess the answer is we don't have leverage.
Oh, I would not say that.
Okay.
I would not say that. I think we're in a good position. We're in a better position than we were in before, and we're making substantial progress. And we have not given them all the money that they've billed us for.
Mr. Chair?
Yes,
If
Mr.
I
Dye.
could comment on that. I do think, Mr. Minor, you need to know that both sides are working in good faith on two tasks. One is to get the system up and functioning, and the other is to resolve any outstanding payments that still have to be taken care of. But right now, there is a good air of cooperation going on.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Meyer. Appreciate your input. All right, members, any further debate or questions regarding? Gina,
I hit my
Vice
speaker
Chair Master,
button.
I see it. You're right on my
I was
screen.
trying to be
Sorry.
a good little student there. Just, I wanted to reiterate my support for what Mr. Kennedy said in support of the team. I 100% agree with that. I also want to say I agree with Dr. Hope's with the type of contract. You know, the prior contract was a time and labor contract. I 100% agree it should have been a deliverables contract. And, you know, I feel like this is at least getting that part done. I also agree with Mr. Minor. I hate to give one more red cent. But it seems as if at this point, if this is what is necessary in order to get us a functioning system, and then we handle everything else that's been going on, and this doesn't hinder what we need to do with that, then I can support this.
Thank you. Any other debate on the issue? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the 2-month stabilization period cyber change order request with the School District of Manatee County, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Showing none, show the motion adopted. Superintendent Saunders for item number 2, approval. Go ahead.
Yes, I recommend the approval of notice to start the process to rename Johnson Wakeland K-8 International Baccalaureate School.
So moved.
Been moved and seconded. Members, is there any debate? Hearing,
Sorry, I didn't hit my speaker button that time. I'm sorry. I just wanted to ask if Mrs. Saunders can just explain what this is for the public, so everyone understands, since this will be opening up a public comment period.
Right. Per what we've just experienced with the process that we put in place for the consideration for naming of the high school, this will now begin the clock ticking of the 6-month community forum and openness to look at renaming Johnson Wakeland. This was the first year that we merged the 2 schools. It was always intended after the merger that it would become one school and that both school communities would come together for an official name, an official K-8 title at the end of this year. So next school year, it will only have one school ID, and it will be classified as a K-8 instead of 2 separate schools on one campus.
Thank you.
any further questions? Hearing none, members, all those in favor of the approval of the notice to start the process to rename Johnson Wakeland K-8 International Baccalaureate, and again, as from our prior experience, this will start the 6-month clock. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Showing none, show the motion adopted. Superintendent Saunders for new business item number 3.
Yes, I recommend the approval of the resolution 2018-11, request Florida Department of Transportation improve safety of State Road 64 intersection at Pope Road, no financial impact.
So moved.
Second.
Having been moved and seconded, members, any debate or comments? This is from our workshop earlier today.
There's a public comment,
Public comment?
but I think he left. It was Herb Zuher, and he was here earlier. But I just wanted to call his name. All right, well, there you go.
Okay, thank you, Vice Chair.
Outside public comment.
Well, here it came.
All right, hearing no public comment, members, it's been moved and seconded. There we go. All those in favor of approving our resolution 2018-11 request Florida Department of Transportation improve the safety of State Road 64 intersection at Pope Road. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Showing none, show the resolution adopted. All right, members, any request for regular meeting agenda items or workshop items? Mr. Kennedy.
Thank you. I have not had a chance to talk to the superintendent about this before saying this because I've been out of town for a few days, but our next meeting is the only meeting in December, and you know, the superintendent and I talked about this.
November 13th.
Oh, what did I say?
You said December, but you just came back from being out of town for a couple of days.
Sorry, thank you.
So November 13th.
We have two
meetings. Well, we have a reorganization meeting.
In 2018, we only have 2 meetings left, and I brought this up earlier, I think in September. The superintendent and I talked about it afterwards. And this is certainly not intended to push her out the door in any way, shape, or form. But I do think that with only 2 meetings left, either at our November workshop or our December workshop, we have got to get this process started if we want to have a superintendent in place by the end of the school year or early summer, so that person can prepare for the upcoming school year. So I just wanted to kind of get it on the radar. Again, whenever the board feels it's most appropriate, but it's been a while. I know we've been dealing with a lot, but I feel like the superintendent search has kind of fallen.
I think we've got the superintendents arranged, as we had mentioned, for the Florida Association of District School Superintendents. They were going to be starting, I think it was like September, but because of the ERP situation, that was delayed until December.
Okay.
And that will include Dr. Vogel as the superintendent representative, chief financial officer. Are you going to be continuing with that team, or are you going to take a break after this whole ERP, George? So there'll be a whole team, and I think maybe if everyone is maybe on the December meeting, we'll have the Florida School Board Association and FADS come in and begin the process of hearing from them with regards to their recommendations about starting a search and what they feel that we need to do to prepare for that. Would that make sense for the meeting in December?
Sounds great.
Okay. Cool. All right, great. So probably have FADS. Why don't we do a workshop with FADS and the Florida School Board Association? For December. FADS can talk with us about the assessments that they're going to be doing, and they can both talk collaboratively about process.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. Kennedy.
Thank you.
Any other requests?
Yeah, I have an agenda request. I'm going to, not go into detail now, but I'm going to send out paperwork on it to all the board members regarding attendance of children from public housing authorities and how we can enhance that attendance for those children.
School attendance.
And how we can help cut down on gang violence in the housing authorities by improving the attendance of these students. It's been done in other places. It's fully approved by HUD, I know, because I've done it already, and I'd like to see it get implemented here in Manatee County. It will help us significantly, in my opinion.
Thank you.
There's been a 56% improvement in attendance in Sarasota because of this type of this referendum that we put in place. It's an MOU with the housing.
Thank you. For the members of the public, Mr. Colon, I think you're still the chair of the
I just
Sarasota
stepped
Housing
down.
Authority?
I'm a commissioner.
He was the former chair of the Sarasota Housing Authority and now is a commissioner for the Sarasota Housing Authority. And they have a program that helps reduce absenteeism among children in those housing areas. So, all right.
And that
Any
program
other-
is, I'm sorry, it's in conjunction with the schools.
The school
So it
district.
works hand in hand with the schools.
Vice Chair Messenger.
I just have an agenda item request. I'm
Okay.
requesting that we have the financial statements and the budget amendments.
That's one thing that we're working on is the general ledger. So
Right.
cyber's that's a goal that we all have. And we do believe that the next meeting will have them.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, Mr. Minor.
At some point, I would like to have, a workshop discussing the protocols for aiding student athletes if they have injured or they're injured, what insurance we provide to them. I don't know about requirements of having a nurse or a physician, present at athletic events. I want to be educated on that. I think we have a great, physical, a lot of team involvement. I think we do a good job, but I don't know much about that. That's an important part of our district, and I think a workshop explaining to us what, the state requires, what additional requirements we have, what students can expect, what parents can expect. Say if one of the children's students gets injured, do we have an ambulance available? Is that required? Where is it? Is there a nurse or a doctor required at games and stuff like that? I don't know. But if I don't know, that means not a lot of people know, and I think the public has a right to know.
A very good recommendation, because, as you know, there's been substantial legislation that's passed around student athletes and what services have to be available. So we'll have a workshop on that. Thank you. Good recommendation. Any others, members? All right, hearing none. Mr. Dye for a legal update.
Mr. Chair, I do have a small update. It's not really an update, but a suggestion or a recommendation, and it has to do with the naming processes that you go through with campuses, such as what you started with North River, and also what you just started with tonight. It was interesting in that about the time that the board was going through the discussion about whether North River the naming of North River High School should be revisited, there was a burst of activity on the school board attorney listserv among other attorneys, district attorneys, about naming rights and policies in other districts. It was a very timely discussion that they were having. As a consequence, it caused me to look at our policy, and in reviewing our policy, it seems to me that it could be revisited. It's kind of light. There are holes in it. For example, many, or I'm not going to say many, but several districts in the state have policies on how to sell naming rights to their sports facilities, how to sell advertising on their internet process or presence. Those kinds of things. I'm not saying that's a good idea, but I do think it might be in the district's best interest to have the discussion to see whether it is something that this board wants to move into. So my suggestion then, if it might be appropriate for a workshop, so you can see what other districts are doing and whether that might fit Manatee County.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Minor?
I was going to ask Mr. Dye if there's something like, for instance, we were to have something called, say, Parish High School on the Firkins automobile dealership campus or something like that. There might be, some benefit, for that, or some arrangement, or some districts might have.
Or maybe minor field for the stadium at Parish High School.
Yeah, I think that's already been established, but there's,
Mr. Chair, if I could.
some private schools do something like that.
It's not a facetious question.
Yeah.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
Lee County has a policy that says that if they are approached to sell naming rights to one of their facilities, and it could be a sports facility, it could be an arts facility, they will enter into the agreement and then have the value of the naming facility determined by an outside party. So it is a fundraiser for them.
Yeah, and universities and colleges do it all the time. Yeah. So we can name that minor field stadium.
Thank you for the thought, but
sure, we'll bring in a special geological program.
We'll go ahead. I think that's a good workshop item. Thank you, Mr. Dye. Instructional update, Superintendent.
Yes, we have a couple things. First of all, I would like to thank Freedom Elementary for coming out and providing such a wonderful percussion ensemble today. It's always wonderful to see the students perform, and they did a great job. Also, we have Saturday, November the 3rd, concert in the courtyard, and that's at Manatee High School. We have a number of schools that will be featuring some music for us. It's Braden River Middle School, Buffalo Creek, Palmetto High, Hill, Johnson, Lee, Nolan, Rowlett Middle, Sugg, and Manatee High School Fiddlers. So if you don't have plans Saturday night, that might be something you want to see. I know we started our day also recognizing our principals. We cannot thank them enough for all of their leadership and all the hard work that they provide our school communities. I think Annette said it well. They are the backbone of our schools, and we appreciate everything that they're doing. In case you're not aware, on the 25th of October, it will be noticed officially that we have 9 schools of excellence recognized by the Department of Education. Our elementary schools are Anna Maria, Braden River Elementary, Witt, McNeil, Willis, and Gullett. Our middle schools are Nolan and Johnson, and our high school is Lakewood Ranch. So I just wanted to make sure that they were recognized. It will be official and voted on before the state board on October 25th, but it is already noticed on their agenda, so I can go ahead and give them a shout out for that. So thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Wagner for our operations update.
Absolutely, thank you. So last week, we were invited to participate in the WAS Education Conference. Superintendent secured that invitation and sent me to it. Steve Wozniak, he's one of the co-founders of the Apple Computer, so he and his group hosted it. And it was basically, it's a STEM initiative that they're putting together. They've had it a couple years, and they're working on coding, engineering design, drones, cybersecurity, and mobile app development. So it was a small group, so we were able to report out on everything that we have going on here in Manatee County. And everyone was very impressed that we've had such a robust STEM program here in Manatee for our students. So there's more to learn about this program, but it is nice that it's a grassroots efforts, and there are some things that I think we can benefit from here in Manatee. Number 2, bus transportation. So we've had a lot of talk about bus transportation. We contacted Jason Harris, he's the director of bus transportation, and he's doing a great job, and he allowed me to ride the bus this Monday. So we showed up I showed up at 5:45 in the morning, and he had us for a bus driver, was going to take me around. His name's Robert Hicks, and we checked out the bus, looked at the routes, got on the way, and we actually did 4 routes for 4 different schools in the morning. And what I learned is that the radio was going the whole time on the dispatchers covering routes or road closures or different things that the bus drivers need to do, and everybody was jumping in to make this work. And they do that day after day. There's 155 different bus routes. And it really is a team approach from everybody working hard, from the maintenance to the bus drivers to the dispatchers to the administrators. You know, everybody's pulling this together. So I was very appreciative of all the hard work from the entire bus transportation department. And it's just an example of the operations team working very hard to support our school district.
Thank you. Back to the superintendent for the superintendent's remarks.
Yes, well, it is Red Ribbon Week, October 23rd through the 31st. And of course, this is where millions of Americans wear red ribbons in memory of Drug Enforcement Administration. So please be mindful of that. In addition, I want to make sure folks are aware that the Education Foundation with Mary Glass Thursday night will be awarding $110,000 for grants for our teachers. They do a tremendous job supporting our schools and our classrooms. That will be held at the Performing Arts Center from 5 to 6 Thursday, and we certainly appreciate all they do for their partnership. And Mr. Barber wanted me to remind all that Wednesday we will be having a town hall meeting at Buffalo Creek Middle School cafeteria regarding the renaming of North River High School. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry, what was that date?
That's Wednesday.
Oh, it's tomorrow.
Thursday's the foundation.
Tomorrow.
Saturday's concert in the
I got that.
park.
Don't worry.
Lots of activities.
All right, Mr. Cologne, you're up first
Oh, okay.
for board comments.
I don't have much to say, but I do want to thank Glenn Gimbalina and Dr. Conard for their efforts with the RAM. The remote access medical is a big deal at Manatee Technical College, It helps a lot of people, both Manatee, Sarasota, they come from all over. It's free medical care, no questions asked, free dental care, free eyeglasses, which, you know, I love eyeglasses. And it really helps a lot of people in need in the community. And the people start lining up 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, I know because I drove by there, and there were people out there, I couldn't believe it. So it's really a great thing, and I want to commend them for doing it year after year, despite the fact that their founder did die and didn't get a chance to see it this year. So thanks a lot, Dr. Connor. Glenn, you're not here, but thanks anyway.
Thank you, Mr. Cologne. Mr. Kennedy.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have a couple of events too. The superintendent covered the MEF grants on Thursday. On Wednesday, November 7th it's a professional learning Wednesday, and our wellness ambassadors will be getting together that afternoon in Palmetto to talk about, as we were recognized earlier, for having a healthy staff and healthy kids, so we can continue that trend. I want to thank Tara Elementary. I don't think this came from Mrs. Campbell, but one of their faculty members invited us to their Veterans Day celebration, which is Friday, November 9th at 9 a.m. And we had a whole bunch of principals here earlier today, and I just want to remind principals and school staff to please continue to send us invitations to your school events. We can't make all of them, but it's always nice to get an invite, and when we can be there, we will. And then we have another meeting before this, but this is Friday, November 16th, and I just wanted to get this on everybody's radar or on your calendar. But it's at 6 p.m. at the Performing Arts Center on 3rd Avenue, downtown. Well, that road is under construction right now, but you can still get there. But Take Stock in Children is doing what they're calling their Defying Gravity event, because their students are launching to the heights. Doug, I was going to go, and then Doug got a table and invited all the board members. So I'm gonna freeload at Doug's table.
Me too.
But so thank you for that, Doug.
Had to make that public, didn't you?
Well, I appreciate getting a seat for me. So thank you, Doug, and thank you for the invite. As as I said to the principals as well. And then finally, I've mentioned a lot of people, but I have not mentioned Doug. Doug jumped into the role he's in now, and he has also been putting in 16, 18-hour days consistently. And so, Doug, I was mentioning a lot of people, but I didn't mention you.
It's not necessary.
I know it's not, but I'm going to do it anyway because you're.
It's a team effort.
It sure is. It sure is. But I mentioned a lot of other team members, but not you. So, so that's it. And I had one final thing which is escaping me, so I'll let it go. It must not be that important. So, okay.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Kennedy. Mr. Minor.
Or when I remember, I'll come back.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. It would be very ungracious of me not to accept, Doug's invitation for dinner. And thank you very much. I think you got it. And, I look forward to your company and your food, both. There's so much going on, these veterans things, and I was reminded by a principal that I'm supposed to show up for some veterans things, and I'm gonna be there, and it's always a particular thrill for me to do that. What this past weekend, the football games are always fun to attend and see the enthusiasm that schools have, and it's not just the parents; it's a community supporting their schools and their teams. That's Friday night events, but Saturday night at Braden River they had a gathering of bands from this district or this area district, and I wasn't that great. I played the trumpet cornet at one time in a fashion, and was in a marching band for a little bit, but I've never seen marching bands as good as I saw last Saturday night. And the host band was the Braden River marching band led by Jeremiah Bowman, a teacher and director, and it was a beautiful event, and I think that our bands represented this district very well, and I want to thank all those parents, there's just great parental support through the band, not just in Braden River, but, other schools. And I send out a supply or a salute to, all of those involved. And particularly Karen, who makes the chili at the Braden River eat place when they have the band things. It's very good. I look forward to not just the dinner with Doug, but we have to salute the Take Stock in Children program that has served this community and so many children well. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Minor. Vice Chair Messenger.
A couple of things. I wanted to give a shout out to Julie Hebert. I hope I said that correctly. She was here earlier. She kind of, I guess, orchestrated the all-county orchestra, and it was the first concert I got to take my daughter to, and she enjoyed it, and Mr. Minor was there too.
Right. Thank you, Julie.
She did wonderful, and it was a wonderful event, and so I just wanted to give a shout out. It was just a great event. And then I also wanted to say a big thank you to Mrs. Saunders and to all of the staff that showed up for the parent information sessions. Most of the feedback that I got was just really, really positive, that they really felt like they got a lot of information, and they got their questions answered. And so I really just wanted to say thank you. And I know that there was some really great turnout, and I know that took a lot of time out of some of the staff's day, and I appreciate it. So that was all. I just want to say thank you. And I think that's it. Just thank you.
Well, thank you. Mr. Minor, you and I have something in common. I played the cornet from the 1st grade to the 11th grade. I'm sure you're better than I am, though, but...
Well, I played Trumpeter's Lullaby and, what is it, Holiday for Trumpets or something like that at one time. That was at least 2 or 3 years ago.
I've talked about it.
Yeah.
We should play again.
No, you don't want to hear me play, I'll tell you.
Thank you. But that was touching. This is also Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
Entertainment outside?
Yeah. We can do it. Yeah, Minor and Hope's out. The kids can drum. We can play a cornet and the trumpet.
There'll be a lot of hot air out there.
So the Making Strides Against Breast Cancer was this weekend, Saturday. I had not planned on doing it until about 4 o'clock in the morning, and then I sort of reminded myself I actually was a breast cancer researcher at USF in the early 80s. And at that time, you pretty much had surgery, you had radiation, and you had chemo. And actually, both my mother, my stepmother, and my mother-in-law all got breast cancer within 2 years of each other. And so I went ahead and walked. I participated with Team SUG Middle School. The 5 kilometers about killed me. But to let you know how bad I am in shape for a public health person. But it was meaningful because I look at how much we have learned and gained in treating, in diagnosing and treating breast cancer. My mother's breast cancer came back after 15 years. It metastasized in her bones and her spine. And she's actually doing okay with all the treatment. In fact, she's actually doing well, besides living a block and a half from the Gulf of Mexico on Panama City Beach. Her house fared okay, though. But it's because of the efforts of communities like ours. And there were hundreds of people out walking and raising money that we have made such great strides in treating a very, very complex and widespread disease. So thanks. The SUG Middle School people let me know how much we raised. You probably didn't know I joined your team, but I did. So thank you. I want to talk about the dual enrollment. We had a show last week, I think it was Thursday, with Al Cohen. And as you know, the superintendent and we were somewhat surprised at State College of Florida's decision to pull dual enrollment out of our schools without any kind of warning. But I did learn in that talk show that apparently, I believe we were collateral damage because apparently Sarasota had ongoing issues for years around their dual enrollment program with State College, and I suspect they decided that they could not terminate the agreement with Sarasota and not terminate ours. So I think we were collateral damage. But with that, the superintendent had been working with USF prior to USF coming and joining us at the workshop to bring dual enrollment into Bayshore. So we're obviously going to need to move that agreement forward so that we have dual enrollment in place by spring, where all of our students will be considering their various options for continuing advanced education opportunities in our schools. So I want to assure the public, and especially our juniors and even our incoming freshmen, that we are committed to ensuring that we have all of the options available for our students to earn college and university credits in our schools. I don't believe that the only option should be going to those campuses. We have many students that don't have transportation, and those are the students who would be harmed the most by State College of Florida's decision. I also want to shout out to our school nurses. I had the opportunity, I think it was last week, to visit the principal at Williams, and I must say, the clinic at Williams was quite busy. They have both, I think, an RN and an LPN there, and there were many scraped knees and fevers and tummy aches, and I think I counted 12 children at the clinic at one time. So our school nurses are really, serving our schools well, and if there's anything that we can do for you, please let us know, because I was really impressed at the good work that they were doing. So with that, early voting starts tomorrow. There is only one school board member in 2 counties that is up for election, but we won't mention who that is. So early voting starts tomorrow. There are a lot of amendments on the ballot. My suggestion, like the superintendent's suggestion, is read them at home, fill out your sample ballot, fill out your vote by mail ballot, ask questions. I would not wait for Election Day, although I know a lot of people like to vote on Election Day. But if any of you saw the news, I think it was yesterday that Texas started early voting, and people were already lining up pretty much in the dark for voting. So with that, exercise your right to vote. It's important. This is an important election, both the statewide elections and the local elections. And with that, I think Mr. Colon moves we adjourn.
So moved.